Simulated racing can be awesome, but it can also be kind of a free-for-all. Interestingly, auto racing faced the same problem in its earlier days. Whether it was on the back roads, the beaches, or the city streets, the racing was fun. But there was always a certain level of chaos and danger, until some folks came along and put some order to all of this. Stuff like official racetracks, regulations about weight and equipment, and enforcement of standards. That's what gave us high-speed excitement, fast-paced action, and photo finishes. That's when racing became racing. The guys over at iRacing.com have made the same transformation in the world of sim racing. Sure, they've got the most accurate tracks and realistic cars out there, but that's just the start. See, iRacing analyzes the performance and results of each driver in every race, so you can be sure you're always placed in races where the competition will be tight, and that those reckless drivers who ruin it for us all are kept in the pits. Not to mention that with over 45,000 active members already in their vast community, you can find races day and night, so you can always get in on the action. You can even join a league of your favorite series. And since updates are always automatic, you don't have to worry about software and can focus on the track. Zip up your fire suit and check out iRacing.com.
iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series Season 3 on LSRTV underway tonight from the Talladega Superspeedway for race 3 of 16 on the campaign here tonight, and it is going to be back to the B and A main format like we saw 1 week ago. 25-lap B main, actually 24-lap B main via the Talladega tonight is coming upon the way here, and we got you set on LSRTV. Glad to have you with us. Myself up in the broadcast booth is Evan Paselko, Rents Brown going to be joining me, and PDJ Zeller, who's typically up in the booth, going to be down on track tonight, hoping to get a little bit of a better result than he had on the earlier portions of our Friday night doubleheaders here tonight. But the B main is on the grid, and we're going to get an official number on what the cutoff is going to be here in just a moment, but we will run you down through your starting grid. Pole position, again, it was a 2-minute closed qualifying. Very close up front, to say the least. Josh Hanner going to be on pole position. A 49.656 gets the top spot for him, and 0.02 of a second behind him in second is going to be Rodney Wofford.
Mark Jorgensen Jr. is in third, and Donnie Garado is in the fourth spot.
Josh Ball, the number 48 machine, going to be rolling off from P5 alongside him. Ray Rittenauer, the second and sixth.
Jimmy Tolliver is in seventh, and Seth DeMerchant is in eighth.
Brandon Chaburko, the number 3 machine, going to be rolling from the inside of row 5. That's going to be P9 alongside him. Ron Thompson rounding out the top 5, or rather the top 10.
Dan Harrington in the 82 is in the 11th spot, and Shane McEachin is in the 12th spot.
Robbie Roy going to roll the number 14 Chevrolet off for the inside of row 7. That's going to be P13 for him. And Lucas Huffman going to be 14th.
Larry Camp is in the 15th spot, and William Roberts is in the 16th.
Derek Walker going to be starting in 17th position. 18th to Brian Underwood.
Kent Connolly is in the 19th spot, and William Tex Perry in the 20th position.
Tanner Mann, the number 17 Pepsi Max entry, going to be rolling from 21st, 22nd to David Schutma.
Jimmy Todd in the number 18 is in the 23rd spot, and our main man Petey Zeller in the 00 in 24th.
25th position, get time, one of the best looking paint schemes in my opinion, that number 83 Borla Exhaust Toyota entry of Ramon Evans. Alongside him going to be the number 80 machine of Brandon Cattell.
In the 29th will be Hunter Bowles in the 26th spot, or 27th should I say, and 28th spot will be James Pileski in the number 93.
Pileski not currently on the grid. Gonna try to keep an eye to see if we see him. Grid up here a little bit late, has not exited the sim, but is currently not rolling with the rest of the field. And rounding out, well, we got some damage. The 29th place car, the 16 of Austin Carver, has heavy front end damage. Trying to see, whoa, we got to get a replay of this. The 16 just accelerated when the guys in front of him had not even started to roll, and Carver going to give himself and the 29 of Hunter Bowles damage. I mean, he just gassed it up when they were sitting still. What a strange incident.
Kind of reminds me back to Sonoma a few years ago with with a certain issue on pit road, should we say, between some newcomers. It's one of those things where nerves starting to get settled. Keep in mind, guys, this is a qualifying race into the A main, so you got to be right at that cutoff. If you have any damage, especially with the Gen 6 cars or any cars for that matter, it's going to be a rough time trying to make it back around and get into a spot if you don't have the aerodynamics.
And we roll out of 4. We get set for 24 laps to determine the field for the A main. In tonight's series of events, the B main gets set to go green, and there's going to be 28 cars buying for a minimum amount of spots as we get set to go green. The pace car has dived down, is on the safety of pit road. We roll through the trial, but again, no pushing into corners. This one's going to be fun. Pack racing, and we get set to go under a green flag in the air. We're racing, and advantage going to go to Rodney Wofford on the outside lane. He'll lead us at the start-finish line, too wide through the field.
The number 21 of Rodney Wofford will lead him into turn number 1 and 2 right now on the bottom. The number 7 car is going to try to get back up. Rodney Wofford in the number 7 and the number 21 of Josh Hanner are side by side off turn number 2 right now. Both lanes showing some muscle here in the early going. The 81 is pushing so desperately that bottom line as well in that second spot on the bottom line, trying to get that 21 car past the high line. We're 2 by 2 in the back. They're 3 wide as we stay somewhat cordial in the opening part of the race as they're going to come off turn 4 and right to you, Evan.
a little bit of a tandem working up high. Again, you can work with somebody, not in the corner, not the tri-oval, but you have to really use that back straightaway to your advantage, as well as these little short shoots out of the tri-oval as you head down into one and then also out of 4 into that tri-oval. Really got to try to push as much as you can. You saw the 2 and the 7 machines doing such. They were up on the outside lane working, trying to get that draft going. They were able to get up side by side with our race leaders, have since dropped back a little bit, and they find themselves third on the outside lane. Currently up in the top spot, it is that number 21 car. You see leading the charge, Josh Hanner. So far already with the checkered flag on the season, looking to make it 2. He leads right now, but again, you have to get through this B main if you want a shot at the big show, which is going to be coming up again after this one. This is a qualifier race, which means as intense the action is going to be up front, the more intense action going to be right around this pack, around 18th position or so, which is where that cutoff is going to approximately be. We'll get an official number from you here. And the 14, somebody got loose. We have somebody around. Looks like somebody way off pace down on the apron. Larry Camp, oh, he's in the wall.
Larry Camp's in the wall. He got loose entering or exiting the tri-oval, should I say. He hit the yellow line, wiggled around a bit, and spun it out. Thankfully, no other cars were involved, but tough break for him as he's trying to make his way back into this race for the A main and just unfortunately gets involved in something that just happens at Superspeedway, especially with the paint grip around this track. But meanwhile, up front, that 21 car getting a huge shove right now from the 81 Diet Mountain Dew.
Oh, contact up front!
48, the 7, the 81, as we're talking about them, they all get turned. They're all in the fence.
Wow.
And, wow, that's a huge wreck.
Out of nowhere, Rodney Wofford, a huge lick for the number 7 Chevrolet, and it all starts right around that 48 of Josh Ball. He was in line behind the 81 car, a little bit of a bobble, sent that 48 of Josh Ball up a lane, got into the 7, the 2's in the wall, and it was that 7 machine that went down a little bit and hooked these guys up into the wall. The 7 car went up, replay going up now, went around, and it was smaller than what it could have been, but still a huge incident. We had a couple more of them that were wrecking down towards the bottom after the initial contact up high. Petey Zeller, our in-race reporter, just narrowly missing a car that went around right in front of him, being the number 42. And we're under our first caution flag of the evening, Rents, and try to cue up Petey there on the radio to see what he saw from behind the wheel on that one, because that was a very close call early in this one.
Hey, Petey Zeller, this is Rents Brown in the booth. You got your ears on and a new pair of pants there, bud?
Yeah, I'm waiting on the pants, but I got the ears.
Petey, that was ridiculous. Great job getting through there. What were you seeing from your vantage point?
Well, I saw some smoke and I saw cars flying every which way. So I was just kind of, I was trying to be like Adrian Peterson out there, juke left, juke right, juke right. And that was difficult, but in the end, we made it through that thing unscathed, and that's what you got to do to make big shows like this. And really proud of the number 00 guys. Bringing a good car tonight. They messed up the number. The decal was supposed to be 420. If we make the A main, that number will be on the vehicle. But for the most part, very proud of the guys. Great job missing that wreck, and yeah, waiting on the pants.
Petey, it seems like even in the race that we just got through, you definitely have had some adversity tonight. But man, you were just starting to dodge. I asked you earlier, did you play dodgeball when you were a kid? And I guess it's starting to show. What's your game plan for tonight, by the way?
Well, they said the cutoff spot's 21st. So for 21st, I'm going to aim for tonight. I'm at 12th right now. Before that, honestly, my car feels a lot stronger than it did the last race. I have a very good car. I like the setup. And there's no reason we can't make the show tonight. If we don't make the show tonight, that's all on me. And I'm going to do everything I can to make sure this car makes the big show to try to please my Merrill-Wise Legal Lana Foundation.
One more thing, Petey, before we let you go. How are the Doritos? Were they crushed in that, or are you good?
Very, very bad news about the Doritos. I think that the 80th Brandon Cattell caught them, but we no longer have Doritos with us. Hoping that MLG still keeps me in the clan, because I'm really good at 360 no-scopes, and that's why I plan to be in the field tonight.
All right, Petey Zeller, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. We'll get some Cool Ranch Doritos in your pit when you come back down.
Oh, no, nobody likes the Cool Ranch ones. Come on.
Hot wing Doritos are where it's at, boys.
All right, well, these amateurs talk about the bad kinds of Doritos and whatnot. An update on the championship picture here with the iSuperSpeedway.com racing series. Again, we have had 2 of the A-main, B-main segments, or, the styled format so far. The opening race was the iSuperSpeedway.com 500. That was a non-points race just for bragging rights, an endurance one. We have gone to the heat format. It is now our 3rd week with such. Or rather our 2nd week with such, but for race number 3. And we do have 2 drivers that have already punched their ticket into the chase. After 11 races, we're going to have races 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16 be a 5-race chase for the championship. If you win, just like in NASCAR, you'll be guaranteed a spot in that hunt. And right now, take a look, you have Josh Hanner and Shane McEachin. Those 2 drivers are locked in to the chase here coming up, and what's actually going to be still about 9 weeks, 9 races until we get to that point. So they can have a lot more fun here and, race it out, try to get a little bit more aggressive for some checkered flags. And we're taking a look at Josh right now. Still has not punched his ticket to the A-main tonight. But he does sit P1 right now in the B-main, which is a good spot to be sitting, because if these caution flags continue to fly, no safer spot than being in front of it all.
That is true, especially here, folks, at Talladega and also at Daytona. You might think you're safe in the number 1 position, but you're not really safe until that checkered flag flies and you're under the safety of, not having a pack of hungry cars going 200 miles behind you. The thing with it is, especially for someone like Josh Hanner or Shane McEachin, it's a whole weight lifted off of your shoulders coming into the final couple of races, or the races leading up to the chase. Because all you're going to do is you're just going to sit back and enjoy yourself, as you said. You can go for some fun. You don't have to worry so much about locking yourself in. Whereas you can see, for instance, you look around, Josh Ball in that number 48 car, he's got to race his way as hard as he can into it. Chaburko in the 3, same thing. It's going to be a lot of aggressive driving to make it into the A-main first, and then secondly to win the A-main. So it's going to be a lot of gray hairs added to that, to some of these guys' skull over the next couple of weeks.
And we are still waiting on the 2 to green here under the caution flag period at the moment. Again, working on our first yellow, 2 to green that time by. So we'll be going back green by the time we hit lap number 9. There is also, for those that are new to the iSuperSpeedway series, an I-5 bonus. And then it's $5 that is put on the line every race. There are eligible drivers to win it. And if these drivers, you'll see them out there with the orange numbers. Best example, race leader Josh Hanner right now with that orange number font. If one of these 5 drivers, as follows, the 088 of Kent Connolly, the 20 of Shane McEachin, the 21 of Josh Hanner, the 29 of Hunter Bowles, with the 98 of Greg Hooks. If any of those 5 drivers take home the checkered flag of the A-main tonight, they will walk away with what is right now as a $20 bonus. It was $15 the week before, 10 week prior to last. And if nobody wins it this week, it'll be jumped up 5 more points to 25 total. So that's something cool as well to keep an eye on these drivers. Not necessarily right now. We've got a couple of these guys that are trying to get to the A-main to get a shot at that. The 20 of McEachin, 21 of Hanner. First ones that I see immediately in this, Kent Connolly as well. A lot of guys that are trying to get the bonus points here to get into this. Looks like almost all of them. Cattell as well, and Hunter Bowles. So looks like all 5 of the I-5 bonus drivers need to qualify through the speed main to get to the A-main. And in doing so, would obviously have that shot at $20. So that's pretty cool as well.
It's almost like how as Josh Ball drops off on the apron, looks like he's getting in the longest line from race officials. It's almost like, in a way, Evan, the old Winston Noble system that they used to do, or the Winston Noble Million that they used to do, where you had 5 eligible drivers, and if certain races or something like that, you would get that cool $1 million if you did certain things. So it's almost kind of like that, except you don't really do certain things. You do or need to be one of those 5 drivers, as you said, for that $20, which $20 can go a long way. I mean, we can get Petey another bag of Doritos for that $20, so a lot's on the line tonight, man.
And the lights have gone off on the pace car, so we're going to go back green flag racing again. The cutoff is getting awfully close to where the lead lap amount of cars sit, and again, we did have a total of 28 cars take the green flag. 29 were scheduled. James Pileski did not take the green flag. Josh Ball will receive a EOL penalty possibly for the cause of the caution as he slid up and initiated the first contact in that. So he's going to have to slide to the back. That still leaves us with 25 cars battling for, again, right in the range of about 18 transfer positions. We will get the official word on it after the checkered flag, so that we can confirm with everybody who's going to be moving on to the A main, take a break, and then we will go over to that A main format, which is going to be right in the range of about maybe 45, 50 laps or so in that regard. But right now the task at hand not only is a B main win, but an opportunity to race for that A main, the possible, again, I-5 bonus, a ticket to the championship. But again, for those that are new with the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series, a trophy will get mailed out to the winner of every single race in the regular season. So also a tangible hardware on the line per se at the end of this as well. Very cool to see that. A little bit of extra incentive. This racing league uses some very interesting rules. Again, you cannot push in the corner to avoid the bumper hook that we see so popular on these plate tracks on iRacing, the way the physics have been working out with the current build and everything like that, which makes these guys really forced into a lot more pack racing, which means track position going to be of the utmost importance as well. The spotters will let the drivers know we're going green pace car. Gets set to dive down to pit road right there. Field in the hands of Josh Hanner. He has to wait for the green flag to fly before he can lead this field back underway. You see they really took up behind him. Jaburko, the 14 of Robbie Roy, all right on each other's bumpers. Green flag in the air, back underway at Talladega. And the inside going to have the advantage with Jaburko and Hanner almost already hooked up the 13 machine. But Jimmy Tolliver doesn't have a lot of room till he gets back to that 82 car. He needs Dan Harrington for some help. And 20 car going to drop down to the inside. That's Shane McEachin, and that's going to leave a couple guys up top. Look at the 14 force his way through to the bottom. Nice move. Robbie Roy up to third.
Yeah, that's true. A very slow restart to the race. You saw people jumping down the line trying to make sure they don't run over each other. As now Jaburko goes to the high line and on the backstretch, trying to get that race lead away from that number 21 of Josh Hanner. On the high line is the 3, on the bottom is the 21, but that 21 car is leading what is to be preferred. That preferred move around the racetrack is now the 14 car has moved his way up into the second position. That is Robbie Roy, and they're going to try to go and separate themselves from the rest of the high line. As now you have the 21, the 14, and now the 20 of Shane McEachin, as we've been talking about, a guy who's locked into the chase right now. Move him to the third spot as now he moves up the track a little bit, getting wiggly as caution's out on the speedway here on lap number 10.
The 80 car not happy over the radio. It is Remote Evans and that 80 of Brandon Cattell who are around. The caution flag is in the air. Heavy damage on the 80 car, and Cattell still not happy over the radio. Gonna try to work on getting a replay here. Looks like it was a 3-wide situation at the start-finish line. Cattell was down there on the bottom, and the 83 came down. Looked like Ramon was trying to follow that 15 in front of him there, Renz, and just accidentally followed him right down into Cattell. Both those cars made contact. Huge hit for both of them. Heavy damage. Those guys are both going to be forced to take a tow back to pit road, and evidently going to cost them a lap, which is very viable here in the B main. Can't be affording that.
No, you really can't here. It's every driver for themselves, trying to get themselves into a top 18 finish or so they can get into the event. The funny thing is, and Evan, I'm pretty sure you've had it too, when you start following someone around the racetrack, sometimes you subconsciously just follow them down into someone else or into the wall sometimes. So it happens to the best of us. Still a lot more racing to go. Hopefully they didn't, for the most part, gain too much damage where they can't get back out there, because it is Talladega and anything can and will happen at this super speedway.
And as we work under our second caution flag at evening, we're going to step away for our first commercial break. You're watching the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series Season 3 exclusively on LSRTV, and Round 3 in the works here tonight. The B-Main underway, and we're under our second caution, so we will pause. More from Talladega coming up on the other side. We got a lot of racing on the way tonight.
Trucking has always been a part of me. It started years ago when my dad and granddad were hauling vegetables to market in Liverpool. The family immigrated to Canada in the late 60s and settled near Alliston, Ontario. I bought my first truck in 1982 and Mercer Trucking was born. Today, Mercer Trucking has over 50 trucks in terminals in Toronto and Los Angeles. Our storage facilities at both terminals can handle any size of distribution needs throughout North America. We service the continental U.S., including Hawaii and Alaska. We run over 120,000 miles per month and some of the best equipment on the road today. We specialize in less than truckload shipments, show freight, we do rush team service deliveries, and haul your refrigerated or heated product. Our regular team service from Canada to California is second to none, and our staff and drivers are among the best in the business. I'm proud of our people and what they can achieve. Trucking is in my blood, it's my livelihood, and it's what I do best.
Back live at the Talladega Superspeedway. Lights still on top of the iRacing Ford First Mustang pace car, anticipating those to come off this next time by, which would set us up for lap 15 restart and 10 laps to go. Message on the screen right there. We were talking about him earlier, and it is our in-race reporter's birthday, so we will wish a happy birthday to Petey Zeller. Petey is on the radio. He is now racing with a little bit of extra determination to honor a deceased flying squirrel we hear. Not sure how that's going on inside of the car, but nonetheless, Petey is going to be restarting 9th, and typically having a booth with us, we do wish Petey a happy birthday, and Brent, you're his replacement, we'll say, in layman's terms here tonight, so resting there, but glad to have Rents along with the ride as well. My name is Pasoko, and so again, still working through the B main. If you're just tuning in right now, it's going to be a 10 to go restart, and again, 18th position or so is where you want to look, but it doesn't hurt to get that checkered flag. Josh Hanner has led every lap so far. Down the back here, we haven't really seen Rents a long green flag run that has allowed these guys via this the pack racing setup that they have on these cars to gain a lot of positions. So do you think we see guys starting to force that issue 3 wide early here? Do these guys in the top 10, are they satisfied with where they sit right now and don't want to risk dropping out of these transfer spots?
As a driver, you're really never satisfied unless you're in the lead. And for some of these drivers, they're going to force the issue because you want to win the B main. It doesn't matter if it's a B main, a C main, a D main, an F main. You want to win. But for some of these drivers in the back, they have no choice. The anticipation for the closing laps will get more and more a heightened sense of, well, what's the word I'm looking for? More sense of less security that you're feeling. You're going to try to do things that the car shouldn't do or what you shouldn't do out of the control of your hands. We're going to see some really hard racing, and I'm hoping it stays green, Evan, because you never know what can happen here, and these guys have shown time and time again that they have some of the best superspeedway racing around as the pace car clips the grass.
Pace car is down and away as erratic as it typically does to get onto pit road, and we are set to go back at it. Josh Hanner and Robbie Roy the front row. Green flag back in the air. Not a good start for the 13 of Jimmy Tolliver. He's going to slide backwards. Wow, look at the move by that 00. Petey Zeller to the bottom, 3 wide. They're bouncing off each other's doors as the 87 car tried to come down on him. He'll slide back in line, and we're racing hard now. Top 6 spots, all door to door, 2 wide.
Petey Zeller is saying, it's my birthday, I'm graduated with the big boys, I'm going to make that 3-wide pass, as he's going to try to get himself further into that top 10, as now we have a little breakaway with about the top 6 or 7 cars, it seems. Chaburko is on the high line right now with not really any help whatsoever being given to him, as the 14 is in the lead right now. Robbie Roy, your race leader, and the high line is starting to dissipate slower and slower. And as I say that, the 21 moves back up to the high line in the trial where we are right now. The 14 is trying to fight off a great battle from the number 21 of Josh Hanner, as we just completed lap 15 now on 16 of 24 here at Talladega. They're into turn number 2 and they're headed to you, Evan.
And how about that? Those top 2 spots, they haven't reversed, but they switched the lanes that they're on. Hanner now finds himself up top working with the 3 of Brandon Chaburko. He's clear. Does he leave Chaburko? Yes, he does. Back to the bottom, back to the top spot goes Josh Hanner. That will now slide Robbie Roy back to second, and now Chaburko going to have to regather himself and work with Dan Harrington up on the outside lane. Meanwhile, again, back we're 2 wide, right around where that transfer position is going to be. 24 cars still on the lead lap as we run right now. The top 5 cars have 2 up top, and look at that 20 machine walking up the hill. Shane McKeechan forcing Chaburko and them high, maybe trying to slow them down a little bit as he rides third on that inside lane. Almost the second pack, led by the 09 of Lucas Huffman and the 9 of William Roberts. These guys all tucked up on each other's bumpers. They're going to try to work their way through the field. And a big checkup now, 18 to the apron, he hangs onto it. That's going to slow up the inside.
Yep, and meanwhile up at the front of the pack, the high line has gained some takers. As now the 82 is going to try to go and make it a
13
3-on-2 fight. As the 13 car, scary moment for him entering turn number 3. Oh my goodness, it is just getting more and more intense. Evan, we said it before, is great job by Tolliver to hold on to that as he's finding himself now on the bubble spot trying to make his way in. This is what we're talking about, Evan. This is where the excitement and anticipation starts to bubble over and frustration starts to mount. As now Petey Zeller is also trying his best to get back up towards that pack. Remember, you can't bump draft to the corners, which means the straightaways get a lot more jammed as you're trying to make your way back up to the front.
2 wide, pretty these lead drafts. The 13 machine nearly got into it with that 00. We're taking a look on board right now at all the battling that's going on at the moment. The top 13 cars within 8/10 of each other as they run right now. The outside lane is now led by that 20 machine of Shane McKeechan. He was on the inside, and he was one that was forcing Chaburko up the hill a little bit not too long ago. Now he finds himself on that high side being pushed by Chaburko. Chaburko was able to push that 21 of Hanner clear. This 82 slides up. He's going to hook Shane McKeechan around, and a huge checkup ensues. 3, 4, 5 cars. Now the 7 is finally around. Caution flag and a fly.
And a tough break for Petey Zeller. The 13's involved. Seth DeMerchant's involved. Many drivers involved, including our very own Petey Zeller. The 2, just one of those things there where we're trying to go over our heads and bump into the corner. It looked like more or less the car got upset on the bottom groove, it seemed like, Evan, and from there it's just on. As soon as you hit that yellow line, you're just a passenger. Tough break for everyone else involved, and now this becomes a survival of the fittest. And as the replay is, and now we have a replay of the wreck here on lap number 20 now, coming to 20, should I say. Evan, I believe that might also be the race in this B main.
It's going to be real close. 5 to go with that time by the striper, rather this time by under caution. It'll be really close. It all starts with that 82 of Dan Harrington. Just slid up the hill. He went low. He drove away. And much like it typically is at these plate tracks, the guy that initiates the contact drives on off. And it was the 7, the first one to majorly go around, the 81, the 70 car, the 80 of Cattell, the 13, the 48. Somebody had a huge trip up the hill. Donnie Giratano went down to the grass and came back up and smacked the wall. Huge contact for him. He lost his engine. And we're going to wait to see where everybody is scored this next time by the start-finish line. We're going to have to see who's left on the lead lap. We got a lot of guys still trying to catch up to the pack. We got a lot of guys that have already taken a tow to pit road. This could really shake up the standings. And if you're still on track, you may, be able to transfer. Question is, do you pit if you have damage? Do you anticipate this one to go green, or do you think it's going to end on the caution flag and you stay out?
Well, we're going to see some strategies being played as P.D. Zeller is going to try to stay out and try to finish this thing without making a pit stop. The nice thing for P.D. is there are many drivers that do have damage behind him. So hopefully he'll be able to limp this thing around and hopefully he'll get it into a transfer spot. But if you're someone like Josh Hanner, you kind of don't want this thing to go back to green flag racing, just due to the fact of the nature of the beast in super speedway racing, where anything can and will happen. That will be the catchphrase of tonight. I do believe it will be, Evan. And it's just going to be one of those things to where if something happens, you better pray that's not right in front of you or right on your back bumper, because we're seeing a lot of checkup going into the corner and people are also bouncing off that yellow line just a little bit.
And I do think that if you pit now is the right call, or rather if you pitted that last time, you had 4 guys that came down pit road towards the tail end of this pack. I do anticipate us to go back green, the way it sits right now. It's going to be close. They'd have to get the 2 to go this time by, and then they get the 1 to go, and it would be a 1-lap shootout. The question is, if you do pit, or for those guys that did pit, even if we get a 1-lap shootout, is that enough time, would you think, Rents, for a fresh car to be able to get up to speed, get hooked up on the back, and even gain enough spots that it would be worth it?
I don't really think so, to tell you the truth. With these cars, we run these things called restrictor plates, where it cuts off the air intake, where you're not getting full air intake the whole time. It has to go through small holes in a bracket that's mounted to the engine. So, for instance, what might take, what you see on TV, you think they're going really fast, they're not even up to full song after the first lap. So for them, it's going to take longer to get wound up, where I think some of the guys who are wounded, if it's a 1-lap shootout, they might have a chance to make one last good run at it without having to worry so much about the speed. Speaking of speed and speaking of incidents tonight, let's talk to our in-race reporter real quick, P.D. Zeller. P.D., that car is beaten up, it is destroyed. What's your game plan from here on out?
2 to green, by the way, guys, real quick, so we will get a 1-lap shootout.
We're going to go green. I have 1 lap, and I can't lose. I can lose. I think there's 23 cars in the lead lap, and it's going to be close. I was listening. Oh boy.
Petey, from a mechanical standpoint, even from a toe standpoint, how knocked out is the toe right now, and what's the speed like?
Not worried about the toe. I'm worried about the motor.
All right, we're gonna let P.D. Zeller go back to business and try to set himself straight for the final run to the checkered flag. Evan, if you're a driver in this situation, this is going to be one of the most nerve-wracking times you can face, especially if you have some damage, because I did say that there's a great chance where you can kind of keep up with the pack, but at the same time, drivers are going to start going over their heads, especially if you're in a transfer spot, because it's going to become packed. It's going to become jam-packed, it's going to get tight. The thing with Talladega compared to Daytona is the fact that you have an extra groove of racetrack, a whole new lane. But the problem with it is we are going to have more room to wreck, as we're getting a report too, Evan, that the 00 car is running hot. It might actually blow up.
And that's from that front end damage, so this 00, PD's going to have to bring it down pit road here. And there you go, coasting.
It's gone.
Now. So he's coasting it down pit road. And because of such, he's going to drop back to the tail end of the lead lap, which means he's going to drop back to 23rd position. And because he's pitting at the 1 to go, he will be black flagged as well. So that's going to be interesting to see how that will shake out on if he'll be able to, because if he gets a position that would allot him to advance, he may be dropped to the back via a black flag. It all depends on if you crash and do not make the start-finish line. The sim is going to score you as a lap down. There's 23 guys in the lead lap right now, including our in-race reporter, P.D. Zeller, who we have an invested interest in, who's back in 23rd position. So if about 4 guys crash out and they don't make it to the line, then even if he got black flagged and was sent to the tail end of the lead lap, it's still going to be right on that bubble. This is going to be close. It's going to be a one-lap shootout, which means no cautions, and it's going to determine not only a checkered flag here, the first one of the night, but who makes it to the big show.
That is true right now. Let us take a look at the top 10 as they're running right now. Josh Hanner, the number 21, is leading, followed by Robbie Roy in the 14. Third spot is Brandon Chaburko, and then the number 9 of William Roberts is 4th. Ron Thompson is 5th. Brian Underwood is 6th. Josh Ball, 7th. Ray Ritor, the 2nd, is in the number 8 spot. Hunter Bowles, 9th. Tanner Mann is 10th. This probably will not be how they finish in this running order. A lot of things can happen in one lap. It should be interesting, though, to see, Evan, as the pace car will try to get out of the way as fast as it can and try to let these drivers decide it. Once we take that white flag, it's on from there. The drivers in the back have made their beds. Their race is going to be decided on the fates of others around them. As the pace car is about to make its hard left-hand turn off, Evan, let's call him back to green.
The pace car is down 2.6 miles to set the field for tonight's A main. Josh Hanner's led it all tonight. He's going to restart from first. Green flag back in the air. The 14 of Robbie Roy. No immediate help. Next car to him is going to be the number 9 of William Roberts. 2 wide throughout the pack. Down in 1 and 2. Calm for the moment. Chaburko, you see, he's trying to stretch that. He's giving a little bit of a help to that 21 car. Down through 1 and 2. It is the inside lane with the advantage by 2. Now Chaburko to the outside lane. Down the back straightaway. He will have help from the 14 car in the middle of Robbie Roy. The 9. 3 wide up. Hop William Roberts, though, with no help at all. 3 wide. We got a huge wreck back in the pack. That's going to affect the finishing position in the transfer spots, but we're side by side for the top position. We're pushing through the corners, side by side. Hanner, Chaburko, going to be a drag race to the start-finish line. Chaburko's got help, so does that 21 on the inside. Drag racing it out, the final time, neck and neck at the start-finish line. Contact advantage, checkered flag. How about Josh Hanner? And now all eyes go on who can make it to the checkered flag.
We're waiting on race control right now on the 00. He made it through the big wreck as everyone wrecked on the back stretch. We're waiting on word if the black flag will be shown to him. But oh my goodness, what a finish, Evan. That was as close as you could possibly get to a win in any part of this racetrack. The 3 came down perfectly, tried to take the air away from the 21.
And there were 2 simultaneous incidents. The 15 machine slid high. That's David Schutma. He slid high on Seth the Merchant, who was making it 3 wide. And then the 17 got hooked on the 87 at the identical time. We had 1 car get turned up on the racing group, and there was about 9 cars total that were involved immediately in that incident. The 70 of William Perry up and over a couple of times down the back straightaway, and there's a couple drivers again still awaiting official word on who will transfer after that wild finish. The one thing that is guaranteed is the checkered flag for Josh Hanner. He burns it down on the front straightaway, and he is the winner tonight in the B main. And again, it is going to be a close call at the end of it all, and again, still trying to get official word from the officials. P.D. Zeller has been black flagged from 14th back to 20th position, which is right on the bubble. And that has now set the field for who's going to race it out in the A main with a chance at a trophy and a chance at being locked in into the chase for the championship when it is all said and done. It is Josh Hanner who takes the checkered flag in the B main. The A main still to come on LSRTV. We will step away from the microphones. You guys can take a little bit of a break here, and we'll be back for the A main from Talladega on LSRTV. Don't go anywhere. More racing from Talladega coming up tonight. Talladega Superspeedway, back live and on the mics here on LSRTV. You're watching the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series Season 3 on LSRTV. Tonight, race 3 of 16 on this campaign, and it is now the A main. B main, 24 laps are in the books. It was the number 21 of Josh Hanner who took home the checkered flag of that one, and now we're set with 30 cars set to take the green flag here tonight and battle for not only a trophy, not only a spot into the championship, but obviously also going to be chasing down the bragging rights of that checkered flag. And the field is already on the grid. We're going to give you a rundown as M. Pasoko, Rents Brown up at the broadcast booth. P.D. Zeller going to be our in-race reporter here tonight as he was in the B main. He was able to sneak in, and he will be starting at the tail end of this field. So here is the starting grid. The top 10 drivers transferred in via the heat races. Pole position to the 8 of Dana Osborne. Jared Haggerty going to be starting in second spot in the 57.
The 23 of Rod Flagg will be in the third spot, and Brogan Lawn in the number 19 is in fourth.
Fifth position, going to go to the 36, Sean Turner. Going to be starting on the inside of row 3. Alongside him, going to be Dennis Wright.
Number 98 of Greg Hooks is seventh, and eighth is Tommy Hall.
Tony Fenn inside on row 5. His Nationwide Insurance number 78 Chevrolet is going to be in ninth position. 10th, the Matt Bontempi.
Josh Hanner, your winner in the main race, will be in the 21st, or the number 21 in the 11th, and Brandon Chaburko in 12th.
Robbie Roy going to be starting in 13th position. 14th, to Ron Thompson.
Brian Underwood in 15th, Hunter Bowles in 16th.
17th position to Shane McKeechin. 18th going to belong to the 48th. That's Josh Ball.
Lucas Huffman in the 19th spot, and the 20th position goes to William Roberts.
Larry Camp, scheduled to start 21st, will start from pit lane. 22nd, Ray Rittenauer the second.
Kent Connolly will start 23rd, and 24th is Derek Walker.
David Schutman going to be starting 25th, and 26th to Dan Harrington.
Tanner Mann in the number 17 will start in the 27th spot, and 28th will be Jimmy Tolliver.
The real PDJ Zeller, the 00, is going to be starting from 29th spot, 30th to Jimmy Todd.
And rounding out your field in the 31st and final spot is the number 7 of Rodney Wofford.
And a field now cycles through 3 and 4, 47 laps on tap tonight. Again, glad to have you with us for the main event with iSuperSpeedway tonight on LSRTV. And it is going to be a 47 lap dash, we'll call it, to the checkered flag tonight. Pack racing at its finest, about to get kicked off, and again it is going to be led to the green by that 8 of Dana Osborne in the Budweiser Chevrolet. Pace car well off on pit road. We're through the trial, but the green flag is in the air, and we're A main racing from Talladega.
In the start-finish line, the 8 car going to lead him into turn number 1, it seems, with help from the 23 behind him. So far, so good as we get up through the gears and get these cars all wound up, ready to go for 47 laps of some of the most intense racing you can ever find in iRacing and in the Super Speedway race. Now the 57 is going to try to get some help. Jared Haggerty kind of trying to get his lane together. Remember, in this series, you cannot push in the corners. You can only push on the straightaways. And when I mean corners, tri-oval is included as well. As the 8 continues to lead, Dana Osborne leads the way in 3 and 4.
Outside lane almost a little bit more dispersed than that bottom. We have a little bit of a gap between the second car up high, the number 19 car of Brogan Lawn, back to that 54 machine of Dennis Wright. A lot of new faces up front here tonight. Some of our regulars were mirrored back in that B main. It was actually a pretty stacked B main, and a lot of these guys are now going to have to force their way to get back up through the field. Some lane swapping going on back of the pack, but it is Jared Haggerty who is working the outside lane to his advantage. He had the advantage at the start-finish line. He leads right now down the back, goes down a little bit low to maybe get a little bit of side draft out that number 8 machine. If you could get clear, he'd go to the inside, and the 19 had to duck out for air just as Haggerty needed that little bit more, and he's not going to be able to get clear. He'll actually get back door to door as Osborne has been able to get around it. It's now Dana by half a car length on the top spot. 3 wide, the 21 car up to the top. That's Josh Hanner, 29 in the middle of Hunter Bowles. And then on the 78 machine of Tony Fenn down on the bottom, more 3 wide. Now it's the 20 car up high. Shane McKeechin going the wrong direction, but pretty much 2 wide, 3 wide now throughout the entire field.
Right now, drivers are just trying to get a feel for how this drafting will go for the most of the race, see who's really good to work with, who's not so good, as we're getting a little bit of some chain reaction. Remember, as I said earlier, you cannot bump draft in the corners, so which means it's very hard for you to really do anything with the run in the middle of the corner. You have to do it old school style, as I like to call it, where where you can't really push because these bumpers really don't line up. Right now, Dana Osborne is in second position, and he is just trying to ride around right now as we're 2 and 3 wide back in the pack. Petey Zeller is making his way up through the pack right now. He's showing everyone who the real Petey Zeller really is as he's up on the high line right now. And right now is, oh, the 54, just about. Had some help going around in the front stretch right there, Evan. Tried to get down low, but the hole closed up way before he tried to make his move, and the hole closed.
57 has been able to get down in line. Jared Haggerty to the top spot. The outside lane has dropped back a couple rows, and the 19 goes up high. He wants to lead that charge. Chaburko to the bottom. Not enough room for the 22 to follow him down there, as the 36 car is right now up behind that number 3 of Brandon Chaburkard. It is the 36 on the bottom of Sean Turner. The 19 leads that outside charge. The 77 is thinking about it. That's Matt Bontempi. Nobody pushing up top yet. The inside now has the advantage by 5 car lengths. And Rod Flagg going to go to the outside. The 77 machine going to go with him. These two going to challenge for those top positions. That's going to move Chaburko to the 3rd car down on that inside lane. But look at the run by Rod Flagg and the 77 of Bontempi working for it in 1 and 2.
Rod Flagg, and then and that number 23 is just trying to get the race lead away, so he's going to use the high line. One good thing about the high line here at the Super Speedways is you get such a run down the backstretch. You're seeing it with the 23. He's staying right with Dana on the bottom lane. Dana and Jared both can't really seem to break away from that high line, as now the high line's getting help. Up on the high line as well, I believe we're going to have a Napa know-how going up there too and trying to get that race lead away as well. And the 8 starting to bobble a little bit around in the on the bottom. That's just classic Super Speedway handling. The car really is a beast to handle on the bottom of the racetrack. Very bumpy in the tri-oval. Still, the 57 continues to lead, but that 23 is starting to gain some momentum and gaining friends on the high line as well.
And it was just 2 laps ago that the outside lane had kind of lost its steam. Now they're right back up there, led by Rod Flagg. The 77 of Matt Bontempi still working with him. Check up on that inside lane as everybody starts to stack up on each other a little bit. The outside going to get pushing, and we will be once again nose to nose for P1. Back down into the corner, you see the side draft that the 77's trying to lay down on that 8 machine of Dana Osborne, who started this race on pole position. And the inside is kind of where you ride around. If you're Chaburko, if you're that 36 of Turner, even the 22 of Ron Thompson, if you stay on the bottom, you're not going to be gaining positions. That's where you ride. The passing lane, polar opposite of that of a freeway, is the right-hand side, the top side of this racetrack, where you push. You try to get that pinch. You pinch them down, try to side draft, and try to make those passes. So when you're a car that's on that bottom in the middle of the pack, you got a guy in front of you, a guy behind you, a guy next to you, nowhere to go, which again really puts much more emphasis on track position, working this, the draft, really, and that pack racing.
Yes, you're really just trying to work the draft. That's one of the things that you really want to do. It's when you think work the draft, well, what does that mean? Well, when you mean work the draft, it really means find your run, time your runs perfectly. As you're seeing the 8 right now do exactly just that. Dana moved up to the high line. He saw that he was starting to get a run. Might as well try to go to the high line. You've got guys up there that will be able to push you like Rod and like the 77 of Matt. So what they're going to try to do now is they're going to try to blow right past this 57 car and hopefully take over the top spot without any problems. But right now it looks like Chaburko is just going to kind of ride in second position right now. And that high line, as we're seeing, does have that run out of the corner, but other than that, it's just getting steamrolled on the straights.
Inside lane is broken up just a little bit. They still have 4 cars down there, the 57 to 3, the 36 to 22. 77 going to join them right now as Matt Bontempi drops down to the inside, thinks about going back up behind Rod Flagg, and will evidently stay down on the bottom. You got a couple of guys trying a little bit of a 2-car tandem to get back up to this lead draft. The 4 and the 29 have done a good job of working together. That's Tommy Hall and Hunter Bowles. They're working up on that inside. 3 wide back of the pack with the 09 up top. That's Lucas Huffman. He gets back in line behind the 20 in front of the 42. Will drop down low in between the 20 machine and now behind the 14 of Robbie Roy. And again, still almost 10 laps down into this race. Lap number 9 in the works down the back straightaway so far. Clean and green as they run right now. A lot of drivers trying to work their way up to the field from some of the ladder starting positions. Chaburko, who sits second, started this race in 12th. You also got 5th place runner Ron Thompson, started 14th. A lot of these guys trying to pick their way up through the field. One of the big movers is that 00 who we talked about, P.D. Zeller. Started 29th. He's right now 13th position. At this time by the start-finish line, going to get a little bit more from it. He's going to be P11.
Into turn number 1 right now, that bottom lane is starting to move once again. The high line has lost much of its help. A lot of the dancing partners decided to move down to the bottom of the racetrack. They don't really want to go up to the high line as well as you want to do. Also, on top of it, Evan, we're going to start seeing some green flag pit stops sooner or later. But for the most part right now, it's just being tame. It's tame racing, very clean, very smart, methodical racing around this 2.66 super speedway mile, should we call it. Right now, the 57 is continuing to lead the pace right now. I don't think anyone really has anything for him on the high line as Jared continues to lead. And now that 36 of Sean Turner gets a little bit dislodged from that 57 as here comes Chaburko on the high line with the 8 car of Dana Osborne trying to make a run for that race lead off turn 2 and coming to you, Evan.
And again, all these guys, contact! 57's going to get turned around! Jared Haggerty hard into the inside wall on his lid, back up on track. Does the caution 57? Oh, Jared Haggerty, no caution. Wow, that quickly. Coming at it, quarter number 2 was on the bottom lane. Chaburko got clear and the 8 machine just tried to follow him down and a huge hit. Jared Haggerty is going to go from the top spot to out of this race.
As you're seeing on the replay right now, it was just one of those things where the 8 car came down, and when he got him, that sent that 57 straight to the inside wall. A tough break for your race leader early on as he was just trying to mind his own business. That 3 and that 8 made a great run on the high line to even get around him. And looked like the 8 was trying to follow the 3 and just didn't realize that the 57 was right there. The spotter might have cleared him, or might not have even said anything, and he thought that he was clear. Tough break, though, for that 57 machine. He had one of the best runs that he's probably had up to the point he was running a smart race. But things happen, that's super speedway racing, as now everything's starting to kind of calm back down a little bit more. The high line gets a run to start, but then the bottom starts to progress again, as now the 77 moves back up to the high line now. That bottom lane right now, Evan, looks to be
contact 1498.
Oh man!
Wow, hang on to it for now. That was Greg Hooks and a 14 of Robbie Roy who got together. They're able to hang on to it. It's a night of close calls and saves. Now 2 wide, or rather 3 rows deep of 2 wide now, and the 29 and the 98 going to be working together up on that outside lane. The main outside has really kind of become quite dismal. The 77 leads the outside charge, going to drop back to the 09. The 00 going to go to the high side. P.D. Zeller now a top 5 running position for his Ford Fusion. Drops back down in line. 22 wants to go high. Does the 4 car go with Ron Thompson? He will. That opens up the inside. Does anybody go down to the inside? 00 going to take advantage of that one. And now the outside lane trying to get going back again. Going to be the 22 of Thompson, the 4 of Hall. We're going to try to make that high side work.
There we go, off turn number 2. That 00 car has just rocketed through that field. He went from about last all the way up to third as he's down beneath the yellow line. And fighting some handling issues just a little bit down the backstretch, just trying to keep everything in line. Right now, move P.D. Zeller to the number 3 spot, but Rod Flag up to this 4th spot, but he's not going to give up so fast. That 4 is going to give him a great shot off turn number 4, looks like, with the draft working the way it is. Right now, Brandon Chaburko is still your race leader in that number 3 Chevrolet, as we're going to come and complete lap 14 of 47 here at the Talladega Superspeedway. This is one of these classic races where it's clean right now, and drivers are methodically making their way towards the front, as we saw earlier with Chaburko and Dana Osborne, and we're starting to see it now with the 00 and as well as that 22, Evan.
The 36, Sean Turner, all over the back bumper, and Chaburko went down, comes back up nearly. Got a little bit of a hook on that 00 of Zeller there. Tries to check up with the 77, and what was a dismal outside lane, I called it, that was only 2 cars in the top 10 up high at one point, has now regained strength, and we're about even strength here on the inside and the outside lane. The 2 lead tandems on the bottom. You have the 3 of Chaburko with help from the 36 of Turner outside, the 22 of Ron Thompson with help from the number 4 of Tommy Hall, but still double wide now pretty much throughout this entire field here. And great racing so far, 15 laps out of the 47 in tonight's A main, already in the books, clean and green.
Clean and green, that's what the admins like to see. They want to make sure that these guys get the most out of their car, but at the same time, they stay safe, because that's what makes great racing on super speedways. Is we're going around a lap car. In turn number 3, it seems everyone's going to get by him pretty much clean as can be, just minding their business, being a pretty good distance between themselves in the corners and keeping themselves just in check. As now P.D. Zeller tries to move down, trying to get underneath that 36 to no avail. At 77's all underneath them. And as we're talking, we're getting a battle for the race lead right now in that 22 car. Ron Thompson has gone to the race point, moved that Miller car to the front of the pack. The 4 of Tommy Hall gets left out to dry, and then there goes that hole that the 4 car wanted to see, as the 22 moves back up the racetrack. Gonna try to take his buddy with him, and here comes Chaburko back on the bottom. We're gonna have a drag race in turn number 3.
And again, so tightly packed together we sit right now, all the way through this pack. And we talked about the fact of the almost helpless feeling if you're a guy like that 00 or the 77 on the bottom. Nowhere to go at this point. You almost liked it better that everybody gets spread out because of the fact you could make moves. Right now, you're almost trapped to that inside. You really don't have a lot of room to work with. The 36 of Sean Turner going to go to the outside lane. Chaburko thinks about going high to block. He'll stay back down in line, and now it is going to be Sean Turner working with that number 22 car on the outside lane. 00 is going to get up to the bumper of Chaburko before they can get hooked up, get a cause a check on the inside, and great move. Sean Turner to the point. 22 car is now going to be once again leading that outside charge, but a greatly executed move. Sean Turner to get from second position to now the top spot on the bottom. Well done.
Well done indeed. That 36, it's all drafting at super speedways is almost like a ballet. There's so many technical things that you must do in order to get around someone cleanly, and then for the most part take the lead. Thought right there, that 36 saw his run, he made his move, did exactly what he needed to do, and when he cleared the car, which was Chaburko, he moved just back down in front of him. It was a timed, methodical move. He knew exactly where the run was going to be and how they were going to do it. And P.D. Zeller right now is riding in that top 3, another methodical driver as he's trying to get himself, into a victory lane win tonight on his birthday. Keep in mind, so happy birthday to P.D. Zeller. I'm glad that he's having some fun out here tonight.
On the bottom, Chaburko wants that top spot back. He goes high now on the 36 car of Sean Turner. Let's see if Chaburko can use the help from the 22 of Ron Thompson to get to the top spot. 00 going to get to the back bumper of the 36. 3 wide. Look at the aggressive move by the 09 of Lucas Huffman. He'll back out of it now. Oh, big trouble back in the pack. Huge wreck. 8, 9 cars. Caution will fly. Big mess.
Oh man, they are wrecking very hard in turn number 1 right now. It looked to be one of those get in the corner, check up moments, and everyone is kind of stacked in there. It was, as we see the replay right now, it was a checkup. It was a checkup that started the whole thing.
Huge checkup on that 088 machine.
The 088 just checked up in the corner, and then everyone had nowhere to go. And it was just kind of one of those things where Rod had, again, no place to go. It became a parking lot in turn number 1. You can put the 7 in there, the 82, the 23, just numerous cars, the 088. Just a bad time to have a checkup or a miscue because you have the whole field bearing down on you entering turn number 1.
And the big one strikes just shy of the halfway point in tonight's race with Brandon Chaburko now in the top position as our leaders will cycle up and catch the pace car under this caution flag period. Expect maybe some pit stops here. The only stops that may be required tonight, we're hearing, over the radio. A couple of drivers strategizing on that. We have a couple of guys that want that lucky dog spot. Larry Camp is on pit road. He's one let down with damage, so this could give Jared Haggerty that wave around Rents that he's needed since getting essentially cross-checked out of the lead spot after a great run early on. He could get back into this now. He will be back at a pack, but he could still get him back into contention after getting taken out by something that wasn't his fault.
Exactly. This is a kind of a chance to catch your breath, especially for someone who got into an incident that wasn't any of his doing, like the 57 car. He gets a chance to get his rebuttal, so to speak. He can get back out on the racetrack. He can get back up to that race lead, because we're seeing with different drivers, they have a chance to make their way up to the front. As we see all the leaders come down pit road, Chiburko will lead them down in the pits. And the 00 missed his stall. He just Dale Jr.'d his pit stall. He's going to go down pit road and come out first. But I think P.D. Zeller was too busy trying to find the last of those Doritos in this car, and just might have missed his stall. Maybe his pit sign was still pink or whatnot, but don't worry, there's still a lot of time to get back up to the race lead, a lot of time to get back to the front. So this will be one of those things where it's going to be interesting to see what strategy starts to play, as there we see that lucky dog being waved around the field.
Yeah, Haggerty will get the lucky dog. PD was able to pick up about 25 positions in the first 20 laps, so have about an equal amount of time to make that back up after the pit road incident is going to cycle him back, as he'll be forced to come down this next time by. That will then give the lead to the number 3 of Brandon Chiburko, who was the first car off the pit lane. And then as this marks the halfway point, we are under a caution flag period. Going to step away for a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll try to get a word with our in-race reporter there. But you're watching iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series, A-Main Racing from Talladega Superspeedway for Race 3 on the 16-race Season 3 campaign on LSRTV. And the second half, the chase to the checker, is going to be coming up on the other side. Thank you for being with us tonight. Don't go anywhere. We'll have much more coming up. Back with the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series Season 3 on LSRTV. You're watching race 3 of 16 on this campaign, and it is A main. B main's already been in a books checkered flag with the Josh Hanner, who sits 11th right now, but a lot going on halfway through our A main. A top 5 car in the 00, Petey Zeller, missed his stall, but he came down with the leaders. He also sped. He will now be 25th position. We're going to try to cue Petey up on the radio. Petey, you got a copy?
Oh yeah, I got you.
Well, you said when we were talking in between the B and the A main that you liked the car. You picked up about 25 spots in 20 laps. And now you're going to find your way back at the back of the pack with about an equal amount of time coming up on that one. That one was all under green, though. You have to feel the intensity is going to pick up here. Do you think you can still get the job done? And what happened there on pit road that cost you all the spots?
I was simple, stupid mistake on my part. Wasn't paying attention. Cost myself greatly here. But, you know, if I get down on myself here, we'll never make it back. I gotta pass about 30 cars now. I believe I can do it. I did it once, and I can do it twice. And, hey, Chubbhart, watch out. Here comes PDJ.
Well, it's good to know that you have admitted that it is Brandon Chubbhart in our little inside debate there. But Walker, what happened there on pit road as well? We saw you had to stop. You nearly got hit by the 18 machine as well.
Yeah, I got the speeding the first time. Just had to let everyone pass me. Didn't want to get a black flag. I don't know, just tough break there. Really frustrated at myself. But great racing. These guys are awesome. And if I can't get, hopefully my teammate Robbie Rolling 5th can get it. But we're about to go green.
All right. Well, Petey, thanks for talking with us. We'll talk to you later on in the race. And good luck, Earnhardt, trying to get up through the field here.
Thank you.
I guess, friends, we could say Ian plashing it as well, because Ian's been known to make some great charges to the field on our LSRTV Superspeedway Friday night doubleheaders. Meanwhile, we are back green. The 14 did not get going. Robbie Roy, huge checkup on the inside. That's going to cost the 8 to 21 sometime.
Yes, it will. Now they're stuck behind some guys that they don't really want to get stuck behind just due to the fact of the nature of the beast. You want to get up as far as you can. You don't want to go backwards, as that's what they're doing right now, as Chaburko continues to lead that 36, now leads the high line with a car only behind him. That 22 and the 3 staying locked together down the backstretch. That's what that 3 was staying in his rear view, wants to see in his rear view mirror, should I say, as in the turn number 3 they go. The 3 and the 22 all lined up, and that 36 and 42 starting to fall back in the clutches of the rest of the pack. Here comes the 48 and the 8. Ball is going to come up with Dana, it looks like, as we're going to come on the front stretch. And there the 42 just gets spun. 42 around in front of the entire field he goes. Oh,
he hangs on. Wow, Brian Underwood is able to keep it up high, keep it in the fence, and he is able to keep that machine relatively under control. Everybody else is able to hang on to it after what could have gotten ugly real quick. The 18 was forced.
4 cars turned the whole field in front of him, washed up the racetrack in a 3-wide situation. We have another big one off turn number 2 at the 17 car to it. It is Calamity Corner off turn 2 as well.
Caution is out after we were just describing a great save. The 18 of Jimmy Todd had to come down for a black flag. And as you said, the 4 and the 55 in a tightly packed 3-wide situation. The 4 car slides up a little bit, gets into the 55 and turns him around. The 87, the 17 going to be involved in that incident there. And also the 00, Petey Zeller loses his engine after being caught up in that incident. He'll be forced down pit road for some severe damage, and both those guys are not happy at each other. Interesting enough to note, and not uncommon that we see that it is the 44 of Tommy Hall who's mad at the 55 for pinching him down, and it is the 55 car who is mad at the 4. That's Derek Walker up high, the 55 machine. He's not happy at the 4 for running over him.
No, he is not one bit, and I don't blame him, to be honest with you. The 4 kind of forced his way into a situation that isn't comfortable for most drivers. For most cases, as I say, you can't fit an 8-foot car into a 5-foot hole. So it just, some things happen in a race, but that's just the nature of Talladega and the nature of superspeedway racing and racing in general. You see a hole, you go for it. You're going to try your best, and sometimes you get put into situations where you don't really feel that comfortable, but in this situation, it did cost a few drivers a chance at a good spot coming back to another restart as Brandon Chaburko continues on coming down to complete lap 27 of 47.
And this again going to slow us down. Pit road is a busy place. The majority of what's going to be the top 10 cars will stay out. An official number is going to be the top 15, 16 going to stay out. We got guys on pit road. Josh Ball on pit road. Wofford, Bontempi, Wright, Hall as well. Roberts, Harrington, Zeller, all down on pit road. Most of those guys now multiple laps down, 1 or 2 laps down each, and they're all going to be fighting and scrapping for what would be the lucky dog position. It looks like the lucky dog would be determined between a battle of Tanner Mann and Petey Zeller. Both of those cars are a lap down. They're both in their stalls. If they can get back out before the pace car cycles around one more time, whoever's higher out of those guys would get the lead lap back. And assuming that we would see another caution flag, because that could be a very crucial spot.
That is indeed, especially with how these drivers are starting to rev up just a little bit in terms of racing. That could, determine a top 15 position to a last place position currently on the racetrack, as the drivers are talking about different things on the racetrack right now over their channels and whatnot. And it looks like Petey Zeller is biting his nails right now as we're watching this, as I'm watching this great fight. And we're going to watch pit road as we're on board with the pace car right now. We're going to watch this great drag race between the 00 and the 40 and the pace car, should I say. If anything should happen, I'm going to tell Petey to hit the pace car. That might help his case as Petey now gets released from pit road. Let's take a look on the
both
pace car.
Him and the 17, they're racing it out of pit road.
They're racing the pace car.
And they're going to get it. They both are able to hang on to that lap by about 5 seconds.
So it tells the pace car he's number 1 as he's going to go back around the field. He's going to try to get back up into the lucky dog spot.
Well, you couldn't have cut it much closer than that. We saw they not only were racing each other out, but they were trying to drag race that pace car out of pit road, and looks like they're going to have some company in the battle for the lucky dog spot. Kent Connolly and Derek Walker are on pit road getting service, which means Tanner Mann is going to be on this next restart, the first car 1 lap down. Then it'll be Petey Zeller, followed by Kent Connolly, followed by Derek Walker. Those are going to be the 4 guys that are battling for only 1 ticket to that lead lap, which again can make or break your race at this point. Even if you wait till maybe a 2nd or 3rd caution here in line, if that Brady caution trend becomes true in these latter stages of the race. This race being 47 laps, and that time by was about 18 laps to go. Even if you get a wave round later on, you're not going to have as much time to get back up to the field. So this next wave round, we'll call it, again, all assuming we get a quick caution away, these guys get more into it, it gets more excited, it gets more intense, typically leads to cautions in racing that is such close quarters. Assuming that happens, that race for the lucky dog spot is going to be very crucial. If any of those guys even want a relative shot, they'll still be out of 20th place plus, but they will still be on the lead lap and have a realistic, or maybe not a realistic, but they will still have a mathematical shot at getting up through that field, trying to take home not only a good finishing spot, but a checkered flag as well could still be a future for them.
Exactly. Super Speedway is not a not really a do or die if you're set to the back of the pack. Let's say at a place like Watkins Glen, if you get set to the back of the pack, you can pretty much kiss your chances at winning the race gone unless you have some great strategy and your crew gives you jet packs and wings. We're currently, I believe the pace car light should be going out this time by to signal the 1 to go, and they do in fact do that. As we're going to line up once again, double file, we're going to go back to racing with Brandon Chaburko being your race leader, and to his outside will be Ron Thompson. You alluded to it just a little bit, the excitement factor of this race is going to start building up, it's going to start building, it's going to start getting higher and higher and higher as we're going to get going and going back to green flag racing. That can only mean one thing, we're going to start seeing 3 wide, we're going to start seeing people get in behind others. To see bump drafting in places that are getting close to the corners. Drivers will push for as long as they can until they can no longer push by league rules. Because again, if you just tuned in, you can cannot bump draft in the corners and the tri-oval at super speedways. That is a big no-no. It offsets the car, and you could turn the entire field around. So Chaburko will be your leader, followed by the number 22 of Ron Thompson, Shane McKeechin. The 20 is up to third. Lucas Huffman is fourth. Robbie Roy fifth. Sean Turner sixth. Dana Osborne seventh. Josh Hanner 8th, Jimmy Tolliver 9th, Hunter Bowles 10th, that's your top 10. And Evan, as we're going to come back to green flag racing, it might be tame for the first, 2.66 miles, but after that, it's everyone for themselves.
Game on from this point. It's going to be at 17, this time by the start-finish line, lap 31 of 47. We'll start, you see, Brandon Chaburko. He's ready, nearly wrecking that thing, scrubbing those tires off the corner. He will be the control car again. Not really in control that much because he can only go via league rules on the drop of the green flag. His 22 machine, that counterpart up top, of going to be right alongside him. Through the trial, but now green flag in the air at a good start for the inside lane. Chaburko with that 20 machine, that 20 car, one of the I-5 bonus drivers. Shane McKeechin fighting for an extra $20 if he gets the checkered flag as well. He helps that 3 car down low.
He does, and now that 20 will go down and try to help that 3 car, as you said. Now the 22 is being left out all the dry right now. Everyone seems to be dropping low. They don't really want to push it right now. They know they still have some racing left to go. They just want to wait. As now we're going to have a fight for the lead. Shane McKeechin in the I-5 driver standings right now and trying to get that $20, moves up to the high line. He's all by himself though. Everyone's single file through 3 right now and into 4. The high lane cavalry is too far back to make a charge right now. It's the 3 car of Brandon Chaburko and the number 14 of Robbie Roy, your front 2 right now as we enter the tri-oval to the start finish line. Evan, they're 3 wide behind him with the 48 in the middle behind this pack.
Trouble with the 80 Rittenauer is up in the outside wall. He had some help there in corners number 3 and 4. Caught the wall a little bit. He has some pretty severe right side damage. He now has to drop all the way to the back, which is going to cycle him back to about P21. You said it that the 20 machine went to the high side. I was hoping that somebody behind him would go with him, and to no such avail, dropped all the way back to what was going to be P5 at the stripe. He now has help with another I-5 bonus competitor, the 21 car of Josh Hanner. They're going to make up positions 7th and 8th back here now and try to work their way back through, but something I was not expecting is we're single file up inside these first few running positions. The top 5 drivers, top 6, 7, 8 now, all the way through those 2 that we talked about, Hanner and McKeechin, single file. Now they're going to go to the high side. They know that they don't have a lot of time to spare.
No, they do not. They jump to the high line in turns 1 and 2, and on the backstretch they go now. Chaburko continues to lead, but now Josh Ball is going to close up that bottom groove in case McKeechin did want to go back down low. That no longer will happen for them. They're stuck on the high line, tandeming as much as they can. Everyone's just trying to mind their time and mind their business, wait for the right opportunity and make their move. The 8 momentarily jumped up to the high line. I think he wanted to go. Josh Ball moves up now to the high line with a 22. The 22 is going to bring him with him. The Piper, as we call him sometimes. And now they're 3 wide. Here comes McKeechin. Here comes Hanner on the high line. We're 3 wide for the first 5 spots or so on the racetrack. We're ready.
Oh, contact! There he goes!
The 22, the 8. We're all wrecking in turn number 1. The 57 involved. Another case of going into a corner and getting hooked into said corner.
Huge mess in 1 and 2, and immediately over the radio, Lucas Huffman not satisfied with the driver of that number 20 machine in Shane McKeechin. It all started with the 09 and the 22 working a bump draft, and the 09 slid up a little bit. It looked like the 20 was pinching him down, and Huffman slid up higher than the 22 behind him, just enough to have that 09 machine get turned around, and then they went up into the field. A huge hit by that 98 machine. What a lick. The 42 machine get a pile into that one as well. We were nearly side by side for the lucky dog position with Pete Zeller and the 17 of Tanner Mann. Petey was able to make it through on the high side, narrowly avoiding the 29. That should get him his lead lap back.
Yep, and the 18 car is done. His motor just expired, so there goes another driver in the race. Jimmy Todd in that Kellogg's number 18 Toyota Camry seems to have engine problems that might spell the end of his race. The 13 in front of the leaders also having problems right now. This is just becoming one of those instances where you start getting into wrecks. Jimmy Tolliver involved in that wreck as he's crab walking up the banking, 3 and 4, trying to keep it straight. The engine's gone, and now it's just survival of the fittest at this point. Evan, it's just one of those things.
A product of the pinching, a product of the great pack racing is what led to that one, and obviously back under the caution flag conditions after another huge wreck. The 13 machine, not sure. The 13 had, not sure what the thought process behind that, but the 13 of Jimmy Tolliver, Rents, he drove by pit road, his engine blew up, but he was forced to take a tow, and now he's got to sit there for about 4 minutes.
I don't know why he didn't just go down pit road and just get back to his stall. And ladies and gentlemen, the 00 of the real Pete Deller will get the lucky dogs. He's going to go around the field and get back on that lead lap. But yeah, Evan, it's really weird that he didn't go down pit road and try to get that surface repaired, because now it's going to be a longer tow time to get back to your stall.
You're not sure why the 13 didn't break down. There'll be times, later in the race, if you got 3 laps to go and if it's going to finish under yellow, that you try to limp it home. But I mean, a lap down might as well have come down, got the service done. He was trying to hold on to the position that he was in, which actually had him as the last car on the lead lap because he was in front of our race leader. And by doing so, he wanted to stay out, get a wave by at the white flag, the one to go before the restart. That's what he was hoping for. So I do believe that's why he stayed out. It didn't work for him. He's been forced down pit road, and then evidently has to take that tow, which is going to cost him a lot of time. A lot of drivers down for repairs as well. The 18, the 7, the 13 getting that tow, 28 car, the 9, the 09, the 48, 42, 22, 78, 98, 36, 57, just to name a few of the cars that are down there trying to get service done to their machines. That sliced this lead lap to about 15 cars strong. And a couple of those guys are some of them that are still down on pit road trying to get as much damage fixed as they can.
Yeah, and now it's just up to their pit crews to tear away as much sheet metal as possible and try to clear those fenders, and hopefully they'll be able to kind of go to the end and not get involved in any more wrecks. That is the goal of these drivers out here right now, is Brandon Jaburko still showing the way out front with Robbie Roy and Josh Hanner running in their top 3 positions. It's just one of those things now where we're starting to get less and less cars out there on that racetrack, which means you're going to start seeing more spread out racing for the time being, I think, just to start the run as we saw previously. And then when we start winding it down to that top 10 to go or so, we're going to start seeing the racing come back to the front, where we start seeing the 3, the 4 wide, the checkups in the corners that are characteristic when you cannot bump draft in. But it's going to be interesting to see how people get through the field. Petey Zeller did a great job to begin the race, going through the field and things like that to get up to that point, but now it's no longer give and take. It's more about take and no more give.
And this restart going to be coming up at a point in time where we're not going to have a lot of laps left. It is going to be this next time by 10 to go, assuming the lights would go off at that point. Going to be 9 to go restart. Caution after 4 to go ends this race. So that gives these guys a small window of opportunity to pile them in once more and get one more shot at a restart. If not, you've got to be looking not only at the checkered flag, setting yourself up for that, but you have to imagine things are going to be pretty crazy up front once we hit that 4 to go, because those guys are well aware they've had races finish under green. They've also had races finish under yellow in the past. They are aware that at 4 to go, it could end at any time, and it is really crucial to have your nose just out in front at any moment, because who knows, a little bit of luck could fall your way, and you could be walking away with the trophy at the end of the night.
Exactly. Now it's about yourself. Teammates out the door. No different drafting situations that you had lined up before. Pace car light should be going out this time by to signal the 1 to go. This should be one of those things to where everyone's going to start biting their nails a little bit more, getting themselves set, take your last sip of water, understand where you are. Some of the best racing you can see coming up through the pack at a super speedway, not so much the leader, because the leader has preferably the right line, and he's there for a reason, but the guys are going to get up there and battle for the win. Should be interesting to see how they're going to make their move, because at Talladega and Daytona, you see that yellow line that the 3 cars riding around right now in the bottom lane is, you can't go below that, and especially the fact that you can't push someone in the corner makes it a lot harder to pass people on the outside. And the outside works, Evan, but it doesn't stay together long enough to pull the entire outside line with you.
Quick shout out to the driver of the 82, Dan Harrington. He's had a rough night. His car's sitting down on their pit road, pretty torn up. But Dan has hopped over to the pit box and he's taking a look live on the broadcast. So shout out to Dan for keeping an eye on our perspective of things here, coming up on these final few laps here in what could be possibly the final restart. 13 cars going to be on the lead lap, and the one that's in P13, there's not much left of it. That's the 48 of Josh Ball. He's kind of still limping around with some heavy damage on that low Chevrolet. So other than that, you got 12 guys: Chaburko, Roy, Hanner, Bontempi, Bowles, Hall, Wright, McKeechy, Osborne, Schutma, Rittenauer, and Zeller. The 12 drivers that are going to have an opportunity to take home the checkered flag tonight. And again, it is going to go at it once again. Restart coming up on 8 laps to go. Lap 39 going to be in the works out of 47. And it is going to be Brandon Chaburko once again going to be in control of this field. We get set to go back at it. Pace car dives down to the safety of pit road. And here we go. 14 to Robbie Roy. Going to make up the outside of that front row. Who's going to get the checkered flag tonight? Everybody groups up behind him. Green flag in the air. We race them off down at a quarter number 1. And we're neck and neck for the top spot.
And here we go, as everyone's going to start getting 2 by 2 and neck, as you said. Drivers that have damage are going to pull off to the right, let everyone pass to the left with racing lines. Chaburko on the bottom right now, trying to hold off that number 14 of Robbie Roy on the high line. Here comes that 77 of Matt Bontempi. He wants to get that race lead as well. 4 cars on the high line and many, many more on the bottom. They're trying so desperately to clear that number 3, and the 14 of Robbie Roy gets the lead from the number 3 of Chaburko. Move the 14 to the race lead. Now it's all about maintaining that high line and trying to get back together and regroup for another run at that number 14.
4 on the bottom, 3 up top is what makes up this immediate opening grouping. The last 2 cars on the lead lap, Petey Zeller, Josh Ball, have dropped over 2.5 seconds back from the battle for the lead position. Still double file up for P2 on back, and now P3 on back. Chaburko gonna go to the high side. He wants the top spot, and he's gonna have help from the 77 back. Bontempi's up the outside wall. He lost the engine. He's gonna stick it in the fence. We will stay green after Bontempi went to push Chaburko, and now more trouble.
Petey Zeller just hit the wall hard on the outside wall.
Jimmy Todd
on the
as well
back
in it.
stretch. It looks like he got turned into the wall hard. Yellow is out. Tough break for our driver. And the 00 looks like one of those things where maybe they might not have seen that 77 until it was too late. And 77 was in the wall, and the 18 just slammed on the brake. Completely slammed on the brake, and the 00 had nowhere to go. Tough break. I don't really understand what the 18 car was doing. There's no reason to check up when you have 3.5 lanes all to yourself, but you know, sometimes you think there might be a yellow flag out, but in that case there wasn't any yellow, just a straight green flag.
What he was doing, he was tucked up behind the 36. He saw smoke, and in that situation, what I would suggest is you pull to the apron. But he slammed, just slammed the brakes, and the 00 car behind him, had nowhere to go. That 18 machine decelerated for about 200 miles an hour to 180, lost 20 miles an hour right on the nose of that 00. And, caution flag will fly because of that, not what he was checking up for. So the irony, it stings in that regard, and it also hurts for the 00 machine, who was having a good run there. Petey was trying to get back up through the field, and now not even really going to have a realistic shot at it because his machine is severely torn up. And He'll be most likely forced down pit lane this time by to try to get whatever repairs are necessary in that regard. Not sure what the quick fix situation is. I know there's a limited number of quick fixes. Not sure if it had been used yet to this point. We'll have to see as some of these guys come down pit road. Doesn't look like any of them have their quick fixes left. No, the 00 just got a brand new car. So Petey Zeller, trying to queue him up on the radio. Petey, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Looks like a brand new race car there for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna drive my ass to this field. I'm pissed right now. The 48 just did not go on that restart. Really held us up. And then the 18, he just slammed the brakes in the straightaway. We had so much room to miss that. I don't understand what he was doing. I'm mad, and I'm going to drive to this field if he kills me.
The 00 is going to be going ham, as some people say. He'll have a fresh car. Some of the guys in front of him still with clean machines here. Some of them a little bit beaten and battered here. But Rents, this is going to be a restart underneath 5 to go, maybe more with the range of 4 or 3. This really is a shootout coming down to this final checkered flag here of the evening.
It really will be a shootout. Chaburko seems to be the guy that's showing much of the muscle. I just don't think if you're, 15th or even, 12th or so, I just don't see you coming through the field just with all the guys that have been missing restarts and shifts. It's a lot harder because of the way that how they're running, as hard as they are right now. So, real quick, Evan, who do you have winning this race?
Ooh, I gotta take a look, and I gotta like that number 20 of Shane McEachin, one of the drivers going for the I-5 bonus. He will be P5. It's hard to bet against Brandon Chaburko, defending series champion as well. Brandon has not had the season that he's been looking for so far. Coming off of a race 1 week ago where he did not finish in the top 10. He is 11th in the championship standings. And again, they have a new format this year, which does have that 5-race chase. Wins will lock people in, so that's another key point here, and so we have to make is whoever wins this, if it's not somebody that's already got a checkered flag of the year, which is Josh Hanner and Shane McEachin, two of those guys make up positions in the top 5. Both the Hanner and McEachin sit 3rd and 5th respectively. If it's not them, somebody else could have punched their ticket there to an opportunity for the championship.
I really hope no one punches their chicken, because chickens don't deserve that. But
that's frowned upon.
Well, it is very frowned upon. But back to the point at hand, the super speedways are something that make drivers' hair go grayer faster than just age itself. You're so stressed out the whole time about finding the right line, not getting wrecked, getting points, and when you do a full season of that, want to lock yourself in as quickly as possible to the chase, so therefore you can relax and enjoy yourself. So it's going to be one of those things where it should be interesting to see what happens with the guys that aren't locked in. For someone like McEachin, who's going to go for the I-5 $20 and all that, make sure that he can really line himself up and get one good shot at it, because that's all you're going to get, really.
Well, we will refrain from getting comment on our in-race reporter from the 00 machine, because we'd like to still have him in the booth with us in 1 week time, but apparently Race Control has deemed the 00 the cause of the caution. So he will receive an EOL penalty and will be sent to the back. Was not expecting that one.
I'm not sure what Race Control is seeing, to tell you the truth, honestly. I'll just kind of say that was kind of a silly penalty on a guy that, had nowhere to go because the 18 decided that his brakes were better than the gas pedal. But, Race Control is what gives us what we got, and got to keep going with it. I'm pretty sure Petey can make a run up to the front as the pace car lights are out. So let's see what they can do with the run to the checkered flag.
And the problem for the 00 is he's going to be P12, but that's irrelevant because he's going to be stuck behind all the lap cars. So pretty much out of contention now is Petey Zeller, which is a tough break for him and that 00 Ford team, who looked like they were going to have a decent shot here at a top 10 finish rolling forward in this one. And Race Control may have, I know I heard a little bit of chatter, something along the lines of they felt the 00 would have had enough room to react to the 18 machine. Not sure, not going to confirm on that, but I believe that's what I heard through some radio transmission in the sim. But again, that's just speculation, not going to confirm that is the reasoning given behind that one. But it is going to be 13 cars that are going to have an opportunity at this. If you want a realistic number, about 10 of them going to have a realistic opportunity. This restart going to be coming up on lap number 45, so it's going to be a green, white checker if we make it that far.
Yeah, if we make it that far, it's going to be interesting to see how these drivers will control their emotions and control themselves. Something that's new for Chaburko is he's on that high line. He's been restarting on the bottom for the last couple of restarts in that number 1 spot. He now needs to hope that that high line gets a great start. They can push him through to the race lead. If not, I think that we're going to see maybe Robbie Roy come away with a good shot at winning this race. But then again, it's Talladega. Anything's possible as this pace car is about to mow down the lawn once again and bring it to you, Evan.
Pace car gets set to take the erratic left-hand turn down the pit road through the grass, taking out the cone, field in the hands of the 14 of Robbie Roy. Chaburko going to make up the outside of the front row for the final restart tonight. 3 laps to go. Green flag back in the air. We're racing it out. 14 did not get going. Chaburko on the outside lane going to get cleared down at a 1.
That was the best thing that Brandon Chaburko could have seen right next to him. He saw that 14 stumble on the restart, maybe missed a shift or, you know, spun the tires. Now everyone behind is starting to check up. Behind them, it's going to be interesting to see where people go. To the high line we go now. Let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Head down the backstretch, Evan.
Taking a look off the back bumper of Chaburko. 14 thought to go high, goes back low, may have missed an opportunity because now the 21 trying to get a nose up there. It is Josh Hanner who leads the outside charge door to door. They're bouncing off each other for P3, door slamming through 3 and 4. Chaburko and a 14 of Robbie Roy trying to get some ground on this field. They push. Coming at a quarter number 4, the 20, the 4 on the inside, trying to hold off the 21 and the 29. There's now 3 I-5 bonus drivers inside the top 6 at 2 to go.
How wide do you make your race car with 2 laps to go? You're going to try to make this thing as wide as the racetrack without wrecking yourself. On the bottom right now, Brandon Chaburko has the upper hand. 14 of Robbie Roy. Robbie Roy gonna go into the high line. Gave Chaburko a little shot right there. He almost lost it. He goes to the high line. Goes down to the door of the 3. Do they have enough time?
The 21 and the 29
to go around the 3? Do they have enough time? They're gonna go 3 wide. They're gonna split them.
3 wide, high side goes the 21 of Josh Hanner. He has help from the 29 of Hunter Bowles, and he clears them all. How about that power move by Josh Hanner? He leads it at the white flag. Contact. We're wrecking behind him. The 4, the 8, huge wreck. The white flag is out. We are gonna stay green. 3 wide for second. Going through 1 and 2. The 29 now pulls in line.
The number 3 is going to drop down low to the 21. He's going to start pushing them. They were 3 wide entering the corner. Now they're 2 wide. Here we go. The 21 is going to try to win this race. Josh Hanner trying everything he can. Remember, Hanner was the winner of the B main. They're going to try so hard through 3 we go. Evan, I'm going to give it to you off 4 as they're going to go side by side. Chaburko side by side with the 14.
We're bouncing off each other for 3rd. Chaburko to the high side. The 14's going to give him help, and nobody's helping the 21 of Josh Hanner. Goodbye, the high side. The number 3.
Chaburko!
Now contact. Chaburko's going to go around. Checkered flag for the number 3. Brandon Chaburko will get the checkered flag via that help on the outside lane coming down to the stripe. He has to owe that one to that 14 of Robbie Roy. They wrecked across the line as Hanner tried to pinch him up high, and the 14 gonna finish up in the air, upside down. That is what you call an exciting Talladega finish. We wrecked about 3 times on that white flag lap. What a race.
What a race indeed. Brandon Chaburko in the right place, in the right time, using what we've been saying all day, the perfect run. He understood exactly where the car needed to be and where he needed to get that run off turn number 4 with the push he needed. Just what could have been for Josh Hanner coming to the checkered flag with a remarkable last lap pass. Chaburko is your winner.
Whew. And while we try to catch our breaths here and figure out all what went down on that white flag lap. We're going to step away for the final time tonight on LSRTV. The post-race show coming up. We'll talk to the drivers that were in it and get a recap on tonight's action. You're watching the iSuperSpeedway.com Racing Series. Stay tuned because more from Talladega is going to be coming right up. Yeah, I did. We are back live at Talladega, and things are getting heated post-race. There is chirps for days, shots being fired as a lot of drivers are not happy with each other over the radio. The 77 of Matt Bontempi is getting in it with the 09 machine of Brandon Cattell. That's not, or rather the 80 machine of Brandon Cattell. The 09 is in the argument as well. That's Lucas Huffman. There's a lot of drivers that aren't happy, and we're going to talk to some of them that got the better finishes and maybe in a little bit of a better move than some of the other ones. I'm down on pit road with our third place finisher tonight. It is going to be Hunter Bowles. And Hunter, you went down to the bottom there. You were hoping when we were coming to the line there, they started the wreck, and unfortunately for your end, they came back down in front of you and they wrecked a little bit too late. You get a third place result though. Got to be nice after starting in 16th. Walk us through your race.
Yeah, that was a pretty crazy race. I had some connection issues about midway, so I spent most of the time riding at the back. Then that one last big crash there at the end put me in the top 5 somehow.
Walk us through that final restart there. Coming up 3 laps to go on that one. You had a restart position. I do believe it was P4 on the outside lane. Inside got the better hand, but you were able to fight back.
Yeah, I was just doing my best, trying not to lose any spots, and I was hoping I could somehow work around, get Josh Henner up in front in first car on the inside line, and I did do that. So I'm glad he got up there, but I was just mainly focusing on keeping that outside line and trying to have a run at it, hoping somebody would push me at the end.
Obviously, rolling into this one, starting in 16th position, we had a couple of big wrecks there mid-race. Did you get caught up in any of them, and how were you able to either use up those quick fixes or able to avoid those incidents to be able to actually be inside of the top 10? Only 9 guys finished on the lead lap. How did you get yourself in a position to fight for that win?
Well, actually, I had connection issues, like I said earlier, and it forced me to ride around in the back, and that just played out in my favor to where I was so far in the back I didn't have to worry about getting involved in any of them.
Well, it was a second place result for you 1 week ago. It's a third tonight. Obviously you're going to want to get that checkered flag to punch your ticket into the chase, but looking right good now, points-wise, your second top 5, and it's going to be back-to-back so far, 3 races into the season. Got to feel good about that.
Yeah, it feels good. Obviously I would like them to be wins, but you still get in the chase if you finish in the top 5, so either one is good.
Well, before we let you go, Hunter, here to wrap up your evening at Talladega, any sponsors and shout-outs you want to throw out there again?
Josh Hanner and Brandon Chaburka for working with me that race.
All right, well, congratulations on a solid finish there, Hunter. Again, congratulations on, a good start to your season, and we'll definitely keep an eye on your 29 machine rolling forward here, being a serious contender now week in and week out.
Yep, thank you.
That is it down on pit road with our third place finisher tonight, Hunter Bowles with the Oklahoma City Thunder car. I'll have to talk to him about that post-race. But anyways, second place finisher tonight is Josh Hanner, and his car was also pretty trashed across the line. And Wrench, you've caught up on pit road with him.
Yeah, I have Josh Hanner. You come across the line beaten and battered in the second position. Talk to me about your race. That was one heck of a finish.
Well, I just was kind of trying to take it easy and avoid the wrecks, kind of riding around in the back for the beginning of the race, and we avoided some wrecks, got up there to the top 10 and just hung around there till that next to last restart, and we had a shot at it. And then that last restart was just, balls to the wall, man, just hang on and go for it.
Yeah, Josh, you're one of the current I-5 bonus drivers that were up for the $20. So close. Could you do anything else to hold off Chaburka, or did he just get that perfect runoff 4?
He really did. He got the perfect runoff 4. I mean, I could have come up and tried to block him, but we would have probably wrecked, and neither of us would have finished. The only thing that could have helped me win there was maybe if Hunter would have been a little bit closer to me coming out of 4, so I wouldn't have given up so much momentum. But I can't take anything from Brandon. He knows what to do, and that's why he's last season's champion. He knows just when to make the right move. So he proved it to us again today.
Now, you are locked into the chase, but I know you're still hungry. What do you think you can go get him next week with what you got, or what do you feel for next week, especially with how Daytona is with these Cup cars?
Well, I actually like Daytona a little bit better than Talladega. I think it's easier to make your way through the pack at Daytona, so I think we'll run good there. I won last week when we were there, so I'm going to try and get a couple more of these before we come down to the chase.
All right, Josh, before we let you go, anyone you want to thank, shout-outs to anyone out there tonight?
Give a shout-out to all my buddies, Shane McKeechin, Brandon Chaburko, Hunter Bowles, Matt Bontempi, Rod Flagg, of course, for putting on the league, and a big thank you to you guys for doing the broadcast.
Thank you so much, Josh, for making that race so enjoyable to watch. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the number 21 of Josh Hanner, who finishes second tonight. Now I'm going to go and throw it to Evan Pasoko, who's in victory lane with our race winner, the one and only Brandon Chaburko.
It is, and I said before the race, Chaburko's not had the season that he's wanted. He entered 11th tonight in the championship standings, and it's going to be a checkered flag, and the ticket, not chicken, has been punched to the chase. Congratulations, Brandon, on that win. How'd you get it done? You started 12th, and it was another one of those late race battles. You made the move at the right time, and you got some help from that 14 machine.
Towards the beginning, we started 12th and worked our way up to the top 5 relatively quickly. Pretty much just rode around there, eventually took the lead, I want to say lap 15, lap 20, somewhere around there. And from there on, it was pretty easy to maintain the lead. Lost the lead with like 10 to go or something, and I managed to get it back. Got to thank Hunter for cutting down so the 14 wouldn't have the run out of 4, so I could have the opportunity to cut in front of him and get the checkered flag. It was a good, hard race at the end.
This checkered flag now guarantees you a spot in the 5-race chase for the championship, coming off of your Season 2 points championship. So a different format this season, but because of that, you don't have to worry about the rough start to your season. We'll call it rough start by your standards, that is. You got the checkered flag, you're guaranteed into that chase, so are we going to see a lot more classic Chaburko here, a lot more 3-wide, now that you're able to get a lot more aggressive out there and just try to chase down some more trophies?
Oh, absolutely. Just going from trophies from here on out up until the chase. I mean, it seemed like we had a lot of upset folks. That was fun to listen to. I'm sure you guys got to hear it.
I was gonna say down in Victory Lane here, you weren't really a part of it, but there were a lot of drivers mad with each other. What was your thoughts on the racing out there?
I mean, thought I was rather clean. A couple folks like Matt Bontempi, he was trying to, throw his 2 cents in, and I guess that didn't really go to anywhere. And Jimmy Tolliver was upset at me for something. Not exactly sure why, but we get a lot of people upset.
Winning tends to do that, Brandon. Before we let you go, sponsors and shoutouts, who made it happen?
I'd like to thank Jason Altman's Designs for painting my car, Good Ranch, and Morton Salt. There was a lot of salty folks.
Copy that, Brandon. Well, congratulations on your win. Good luck rolling forward in the season here and also on Tuesday nights.
All right, thank you.
Well, if I told you we were at a short track, I think you'd be able to believe me after the post race stuff. And again, we've been able to listen to it all, not on the air, but there's quite a lot of talking going on, and it'll be interesting to see how this all shakes out throughout the week.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I got my bulletproof vest on right now because the shots were being fired for literally days between a few drivers, and it's just one of those things to where sometimes people just, they gotta, strut their stuff, even though there's not really much to strut sometimes. So it's a lot of shots being fired, but you know what? That's iRacing, and that's drivers trying to think that they're tough. But anyway, let's run down the running order for tonight's race, Evan, because I think that's what the people want to hear us talk about.
Yes, it is Chaburko who finishes in the number 1 spot. Josh Hanner second. Hunter Bowles would get third. And that does mean that since it was the I-5 bonus guys that came home second and third, but not the top spot, that prize money will be bumped up to $25 for the next week's race. Dennis Wright would get fourth. Robbie Roy fifth in position. 6th through 7th would be David Schutma, Tanner Mann, Josh Ball, Shane McKeechin, and Tommy Hall, who was the first car one lap down to round out the top 10.
Dana Osborne is going to come home in 11th, followed by Ray Rittenauer. P.D. Zeller, Ray Rittenauer is 12th, P.D. Zeller 13th. 14th, 15th, and 16th were Kent Connolly, Jared Haggerty, and Rodney Welford. Shane Turner comes home 17th, Matt Bontempi 18th, Rod Flagg 19th, Brian Underwood in the 20th spot.
21st to Lucas Huffman, 22nd to Derek Walker, Ron Thompson, 23rd, Greg Hooks, 24th, 25th to Larry Camp, Tony Fenn, 26th, 27th position to Jimmy Todd, P28 to Jimmy Tolliver, William Roberts, 29th, 30th, Brogan Lunt, and Dan Harrington would round out tonight's 31-car field. And that was an interesting one, Petey. You got to experience it. You've caught up with us. Not the finish that you wanted by any means, and then got caught up in a late race incident as well on that last lap to add insult to injury. But, talk us through your night. You had a fast car we saw, and you showed it out there, just not the result you probably earned.
Well, if Brandon Chaburko was still up here, I'd ask him to pass the salt, because right now I am salty. Man, I'm mad. I drove my way through that field from 30th to 2nd, and I think it was like 15 laps. Amazing vehicle. I can't thank the Big Block Motorsports guys enough. My teammate Robbie Roy, man, we drove through the field, almost got up front, made a mistake on pit road, my fault. Fought so hard to get back on the lead lap, got it. We were going to restart 11th in good position. I felt like I had a chance to maybe get up there and mess with them guys and have a chance, but they penalized me. I'm not going to give my full opinion on this because I want to be up in the booth with you next week, Evan, but they penalized me for a guy braking in front of me, which doesn't make too much sense to me, but you know what? If that's what they want to do, I'm just going to be salty. Anyways, took the penalty, passed a bunch of cars, was back at about 10th. Was going to miss the whole wreck, but the guy under me, we had missed the wreck, and he's turned right up in the track into me, ended my night, and I think I got like 14th or 15th, or I don't even know. Just rough night. I felt like I could have got the trophy tonight, but I'm excited to get back in the booth with you next week, Evan, and thank you to the guys at Bullring Racing for giving me such a great vehicle and just weed and Doritos.
Well, as you can see, he downshifting to park that thing on pit road. That car does not sound good, whatever the heck that sound was. But it was fun to see you out there, Petey, on track, and we look forward to having you back up here with us next week. It was an interesting race for sure. Sometimes when things just don't go your way, it's not your night. Well, Rents, before we head off, you were my counterpart up here in the tower tonight, so we got the third-party perspective on everything went down before we step away and called this week's Friday Night Superspeedway doubleheader a wrap. Your thoughts on the iSuperSpeedway race tonight?
Man, drivers getting a little salty. I think everyone should just go take a bath and go relax for a bit, have a drink, and just relax. I mean, it is just super speedway racing. It's what happens. I want to, first of all, congratulate Chaburko on a great win, locking himself into the chase. I also want to congratulate Petey Zeller on surviving another year and getting another year older. I hope you have a safe flight tonight, Petey. I know it's going to be a rough one. Just want to thank everyone in the booth for letting me come in here, and also thank you, the fans, for letting me entertain all of you tonight for what was a fantastic doubleheader, both with Verdane and over here with the iSuperSpeedway series. So thank you, Evan, for letting me come up, and I'm free whenever you want me, because I think this racing thing isn't working out anymore.
You're pretty bad, Rens.
Well, maybe we'll have a little bit of a competition to see who would get a better finish, PD versus Rens. But thanks for coming up also and, taking in PD's spot when he abandoned me to go have fun on track tonight. I know he had some mic issues, so he hopped out there in the race car to keep things entertaining for us. But thanks for coming up also, keeping me company and keeping the action exciting. And I mean, that wraps it up. What can we say? Big track racing with short track tempers is all you can say after tonight. It almost went, 2 for 2 with Josh Hanner winning the B main. Only got the A main. He comes up one position short to tonight's winner. Ticket punch to the chase, and Brandon Chaburko will become the third driver that's going to be locked in to the chase for the iSuperSpeedway.com Season 3 Championship, which kicks off in February. So still a long way to go to that point, but race 3 is in the books, and that does it tonight on LSRTV. So on behalf of executive producer Laura Lawson and race reporter Petey Zeller, Rents Brown, alongside myself, Evan Pozelko, thank you for tuning in. We will see you race 4 coming up, same place, same time, 1 week on LSRTV. Good night, everybody.